everybody, it's me, Seafood Joel. Yeah, it's Martial Arts Channel. Yeah, I'm in the kitchen. Because of a question my son had. He said, Dad, so many people just eat fast food and junk food, and why don't they eat something at home, a good meal? And I said, to answer him, that a lot of people just don't know how to cook. They don't know how to make their own food. So I thought I would help anyone who might not know how to make food for themselves do so. And like, not crazy. This is one take. I'm going to do this in one take. And I'm going to show you kind of what I have. And firstly, my old clunker of a stove here. I actually don't know how old it is, but there it is. Now, this is a pan nobody's doing. It's a rock, The Rock. I got this from Walmart, I think. I have this pan. I use it for a ton of things. I also have a bigger pan that I use for other stuff. Maybe we'll see what happens with that later. This is a bowl. Pretty sure I got that from IKEA years ago. This is a little spatula. And then I've got eggs, because that's going to be our thing today. We're going to do eggs, and it's going to be really simple. I'm going to use Pam. You can use whatever you want. You can use some like margarine, butter, oil if you want to. I would say not too much. I like the Pam, especially for eggs. I'm going to do them over easy. And hopefully they work out. Now, I've done this a whole lot of times. And like martial arts training, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. You're going to all the above. And be okay with it. That's okay. That's part of cooking. I hope you don't get discouraged if you kind of mess up a meal. We're going to do this one. Even if you mess this one up, it'll still probably taste good. All right. So here's our first thing. I do like to put it into a bowl. And I'm going to show you. Hopefully you see the process and you like it. So the first thing is I'm going to crack my egg. I don't need that in there. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to crack my egg. And then put it in here. Boom. Good. All right. So first, the yolk didn't break. It does sometimes. Just it's going to do it. So that's kind of the thing. It happens. And then, oh, boom. If you've never cracked an egg and done it, it takes a little bit. And to find what works to get the crack and just enough. And it depends on your eggs too. And then that's my compost, so I put it in there. I'm going to rinse my hands. Dry those off. We don't need this anymore. Goes over there. So hopefully, I'm going to move you closer. And then, ooh, does that work? And then I'm going to tilt you. Good, because I want you to see what's happening maybe a little bit better. Okay, I'm going to put my stove on. Like everything else, you're going to need to know your equipment. I need to know my stove. It's an old stove. I know this pan. I know this little spatula is the one I like to use for my eggs. And other things. I like to use other things. I only really probably use, I got these over here. I use the tongs. I use this little strainer thing. Sometimes and sometimes. The other one is this weird little spoony thing that I actually use quite a lot. You're going to find what works best for you. What is the thing that works best for you? That's what you want to use. So finding your equipment, knowing the things. And again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I think this was maybe $10, $15 at Walmart. There's a couple of bucks. Like any bowl will work. So you don't need to spend a ton of equipment on a whole bunch of different things, or a ton of money on a bunch of different equipment and get all these different things. Just get a pan, a spatula that you like, and you're good. And you can do this with a hot plate. You can do it with a lot of different things. I use my stove because I have a stove. I'm going to take the eggs, and I'm going to pour them into here. Now this is the cool part. I put this in my sink. This didn't actually turn out too bad. They kind of did. But sometimes they might be, I'll see if I can do it. See how they're kind of, oh, they didn't even do it. Sometimes, as I do this, they're over here. And you know what, gang? Sometimes they just get stuck that way. Like right now, I don't like this. I want to kind of gently push it over. And I just did this by going, oh crap, I put the eggs in the pan. They're in the wrong place. It's going to be kind of a, it's not going to work out so great for me later. And I just figured it out. Problem solving. That's all we're doing. Problem solving. Now, I know what I like for food. I know how I like my food to taste. And that's something you have to find out for yourself. And a lot of that is going to be just like your martial arts or music or anything else that you might choose to pursue. It's going to be up to your individual, get ready for it, your taste. What your preferences are. What do you like? You know, if you don't like eggs or you don't eat eggs or you're allergic to eggs, don't do eggs. Fine. But I'm just showing you how cooking. A lot of people can eat eggs. A lot of people do eat eggs. I bet some people wish they knew how to cook them. And hopefully this will help you see one way to cook it. Now, I like this little thing because I found I can come around here and keep it from kind of burning and sticking too much. So that's why I do it. And this is all in real time. I want you to see what I'm doing. No fancy cuts, no nothing in there. Keeping it really simple and just learning how to cook and learning from your mistakes. Okay, see that bubble? Bubble right in the middle. Pop. It's kind of satisfying. And then adjusting things, when you get it, you go, it's not really what I want. Or it's not really what I had in mind. And maybe you make adjustments for next time. And that is really part of the process. I don't know anybody who's cooked a dish or every meal or everything they've made who's been cooking for a while and gotten everything perfect the first time. Every time. It just seems ridiculous to me. But I think a lot of people might not realize that and realize that you can very quickly learn something if it's an easy dish. What I do, I spray this pan, I put it on. If you go, oh crap, that seems like it's cooking too fast, you can pick it up. Like, just take it off the heat. Electric's a little bit harder, honestly, to figure out than the gas flame, which is why a lot of people like to do it. You can turn it down. You've got to figure out what setting works best for you. I've cooked eggs in this pan on this stove more than a few times. And honestly, I mess it up more than a few times too. Maybe I get distracted when I'm trying to get the kids ready for school, or I just spaced out for a second and they're like, oh crap. And sometimes my over easy eggs have turned over medium. All right, so I'm seeing how this is starting to congeal here, starting to the whites right here are getting a bit more. That's what we want. I gotta watch it a little bit because this is the part, if I'm talking too much and not paying attention, I'll go over there. You notice I'm not really doing a whole lot. It should be that easy. It is a lot of watching, but here you go. All right, so now I'm gonna take this one and I'm gonna cut. And I've screwed this up more than a few times. But even when the great thing is that eggs are very, very forgiving. Even when you screw it up, I should probably pay attention a little bit more. Maybe use two hands. Sort of like having your hands down when you're sparring. Don't do that. All right, this is the part where you could mess up. And I've done it more than a few times. So I like to separate. I found that, hey, I'm separated. It works out really great. And using a smaller pan holds it instead of a great big pan and trying to keep them all separate. I mean, they look different, but it's just me. So I take it and then I flip it over. And then flip it. And then flip it. I found this one works out great. The oil helps out with that. Now here's the part that you don't want to mess up. Is don't cook it too much. I'm going to turn my heat off. It doesn't need any more heat. It's going to cook for just a little bit. honestly, this is part where I mess it up more times than not. I'll leave it on for too long and it goes over hard. But we're gonna see. We're gonna do a little test in here. I'm gonna take that off. You hear it? You could put this in, and maybe we'll do that a different time. You could just fry them. You can scramble them. Absolutely, I scramble eggs quite often. So I'm gonna move the camera. Look at that. Delicious. Now this is what I like to do. I'm gonna make sure I don't burn the crap out of myself. Come over here. And I do this, and I learned it as a kid, and that's really the thing on there. Oh, what do I do with it? Well, I'm gonna sheet this a little bit. What are you doing here? Think you're gonna have something and then you don't? I like to do garlic salt instead of regular salt. That's just me. Oh, I put too much on there. I don't know. Pepper. Now you can put it on before, but here's the cool part. Let's see if I did them well. This is how you tell if they are over easy, is you cut them. Oh, and if they're runny yolks, they're over easy. And this is how I learned how to eat them. I got this, my grandfather ate his eggs this way. And I just really liked it. You could do it with some toast. You could do it with anything else that you want to put in there. Other sides. But I just wanted to focus on something easy. If you don't know what to eat and you don't know how to cook food for yourself, and you want to eat something that's really can be really nutritious and affordable. I mean, it's 3 eggs. I had to pay them, but you could literally go get like butter. We do maybe like we'll do some cooking hacks or some food hacks later, because I have, as many of my friends, we're all grown now. We have kitchens and stuff like that, but we were poor at one point, and it's tough to eat when you're poor. It's tough to eat healthy. It's tough to eat good food. And sometimes when you're training, we don't think about that as well. And we want to do what's good for us, good for our bodies when we're eating, and good for our bodies when we're training. So as an athlete, I need to keep good food in there. Let's hear it. That's pretty darn good. So you can mix it up. At that point, you can say, hey, I want to put a little bit more salt on it, or I want to put some more pepper on it, or garlic salt, or whatever floats your boat, you know. It's warm. It's delicious, if you like your eggs this way. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. Maybe a food you want to try. I got some other things that I want to try. They're things that I know how to cook. I know how to make. But there's no fancy cuts. I will say I like to use the bowl. If you break a shell, you can use, and you get a little bit of eggshell down in there, you can actually use the, because this is just the eggs in there. You can actually take this, maybe I said this, I don't know, and you can scoop it out with the eggshell if you got a little piece in your bowl, in your egg there, instead of using like a fork or your fingers or something like that. Or throwing it all out. Don't throw it all out. I remember, and I've done this, if you do break your yolks, you do what scramble them. Maybe we'll do that next time. Anyway, I'm Joel. This is food. Help me think of a name too. Should we call it this section Food and Philosophy, Cooking and Kung Fu, Meals and Martial Arts? I don't know. It's just a start. So here you go. Eggs. Simple. Simple, simple. Just like your training. Do something simple and get what you need to get going. The whole goal is to feed myself, and I was able to do so. But I can also enjoy the process and not be all anxious and flipped out, and realize that it is something simple and manageable to do. So we'll cook something else next time. Boom!